cheese, dressing, creamy macaroni and cheese, and Jody Rice. Get specials on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And the popular Sunday special of baked dark meat chicken that falls right off the bone. With mustard greens, cabbage, and broccoli and cheese casserole. You'll also find some awesome desserts and refreshing beverages. Mama's Oven, open 7 days a week, 9255 South Main, near NRG Stadium. Call 713-661-3656. 713-661-3656.
Have you dropped your denture or partial and cracked it? Has a tooth fallen off? No need to wait 2 or 3 days for a repair. At Sunnyside Dental, we have an in-house lab. In most cases, we can fix that denture or partial while you wait. That's right, same-day denture repair while you wait. Call Sunnyside Dental, 713-738-9299. 713-738-9299. Let's get that denture fixed, because you know what? You cannot go to church like that.
Houston, your voice is back. KCOH 1230 AM radio. Habershaw, Harris Hilly, Mike, Stop Sam, Ralph Cooper, John Wayne Irvin, and the crew. Music and so much more. 1230 The Source at 1230KCOH.com. Keep it hot every day.
Houston, 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 and the rest of the world. What is going on? Soapbox Heroes in the building. My name is Tyrone Irvin. Just in case you never heard us say that before, come on at 7 and 9, right after the godfather of sports radio, the Mr. Masked Up, Ralph Cooper himself. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day out there. It looks like it's getting a little gloomy. Reminds me of 2020. Seems like it is getting a little gloomy. But no matter the doom and the gloom, you can always search for a ray of sunshine. You know, we got to search for that ray of sunshine. Hey, you guys, look, I got some things on the menu that we are going to talk about today. Yesterday, when we ended the show, I kind of left a little teaser. I was really out of time. But we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter held a protest. Yes, indeedy. And I know. Why is that news? Because this is something that happens very often. I understand. Well, BLM held a protest in front of a Baptist church. Yes, indeed, in front of a Baptist church. We are going to get into the why in a second. We're going to get to the why in a second, no doubt about it. Also, I want to know something. Now. There is some new studies that has been done. There's some new studies. And what I just want to know this. When you are making love, when you are bumping uglies, when you are doing the horizontal polka, are you wearing a mask? Are you wearing a mask? Look, am I being intrusive by asking, hey, just something that I read. Studies say, listen to the experts. Studies say that you should wear a mask. And so I want to know how you feel about masking up before you undress. Did that take away from the sex appeal a little bit? Baby, you look good over there in that negligee and that mask to match. You look good over there in that lingerie and that mask to match. So that's what I want to know. We're going to talk about that, you guys. I guess there has been some experts. There have been studies that say that if you're going to be bumping ugly, if you're going to be doing the nasty, if you are going to be doing the pump and hump, then you need to wear a mask. Baby, don't be offended. I don't want to get the coronas. So we're going to get into that. There was an article in the New York Post. And we're going to go ahead and get into that. I want to know. I really want to know. Is this something that you're going to do, willing to do? Are you already practicing this? The experts say you should do it. The experts say you should do it, and so not only should you protect yourself down low, apparently you should protect yourself up high. Oh, 2020. I can look you in the eyes, but I can't read your lips. Ooh-wee. And look, also, we are going to talk about young Black voters. And what does young Black voters feel about this election coming up? And very often we say, these kids are they're just in the way. They just don't know what it is that they want to do. These kids. And these kids definitely have a voice, but we are going to, there's an article actually about the upcoming election and what Black youth, young people thought between the ages of 18 and 30. And I found it very, very interesting. And maybe you'll find it very interesting as well if we didn't have the COVIDs. I see you, Betty Boo, with your mask on. You masking up when you making love. Oh, man, look. If the COVIDs wasn't here, we would do more group things. We had another focus group coming up with the youth. Well, not the youth, with young adults. And we were going to talk about the election cycle, what we think about the process at this point in time. How do they feel about the candidates? How do they feel after the primaries? But of course, now we're the epicenter. It was a whole lot of traffic on the freeway on the way here, but we are the epicenter. We can't do it. We have to figure out other innovative things. Hey, you guys, look. We got a good show for you. My name is Tyrone Dever. We're going to be right back right after this. Look, the phone number is 713-668-1230. Don't be afraid to run your fingers across that phone. We're going to get into it. You putting on the mask when you make love. And why is Black Lives Matter in front of a Baptist church yelling and screaming and protesting? We're going to find out soon. Betty Boo, you be wearing a mask? That's what they say. They say you're supposed to wear a mask. You're supposed to wear a mask when you're doing it. We're gonna talk too about but first we're gonna talk about Black Lives Matter. I left off there yesterday. They're protesting in front of a Baptist church in New York. And so we're going to get into it and chop it up about why they're protesting. And I want to know what you guys think. Oh, you guess you will now? You weren't wearing a mask? You're not listening to the experts. The experts say you should wear a mask when you having sex. If you're going to be bumping uglies, you're supposed to wear a mask. This isn't me. This is the experts. This is and not Delvin the expert, but the other experts. So I don't know about so how practical do you guys think that is? Hey, baby, you look good in that thong. Ooh, and you got the matching mask. You killing it, girl. You killing it, baby. Oh, man. I don't make the rules. I just live by it. But I don't know if I'm living with that rule. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's some other stuff. Know who does? Well, they're recommending it. They recommended it. They recommend that you wear a mask when you have sex. You know, I mean, does that take away from the intimacy? Maybe, but you might get COVID. What about 6 feet? How? Now, I've heard some war stories, but but how? How? I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm lost. How you gonna pull that off? I don't know how you pull that off. The 6 feet, Betty Boo? 6 feet. That couple should wear a mask when they're being intimate.
They got babies walking in here. Look at what they're doing.
Why are you bringing a baby into a church that's Catholic home? You are pissing your I'm calling DPS on you.
Oh, they tripping.
Save those kids. Save those kids.
Hey, yeah. Hey, so Black Lives Matter, they're protesting out in front of this Baptist church. And I'm gonna tell you guys why now. We're about to come on in 1 minute, so it ain't a long time. Let me pull this up right quick. Yeah, so I don't know what's up with the protests. Well, I do know what's up. We all about to know. We got 1 minute. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Over the break, I hope you got a chance to go get your libations, pop your popcorn, tell your partner to go get their mask to match their lingerie for the night because yes, you're supposed to wear a mask when you have sex, when you bump uglies. But we're going to talk about that right after we talk about this. Yes, indeed, you guys. Black Lives Matter is protesting outside of Grace Baptist Church. Oh, yeah, they out there in front of Grace Baptist Church in the state of New York, the former epicenter. You know, like a couple weeks ago, months ago, people were dying in the street. We need a million respirators. Well, now they're out there protesting in front of a church because the church raffled off a gun. They raffled off an AK to one of their parishioners early in June. And ever since they did that, they've had Black Lives Matter protesting in front of their church, blocking the entrance, yelling at people, screaming. It has become quite the kerfuffle, even with a little bit with some melees that spark up here and there. And when you see it online, Black Lives Matter is saying that they're racist, all right? And so within reviewing this situation for myself, you know, I like to review things aside from what someone tells me. And so I took my eyes and I started meandering through the different footage, reading the different articles. And I said, well, it seems like this is sort of being played down. In fact, it's not even really spoken about. And the more I listened to it, I said, well, some of this stuff seems mighty hypocritical, and I'm going to tell you about that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to give you a little bit of sound from said protest in front of this church. Now, remember, this is a Baptist church. It's a place of worship. People go here because they want to worship. They want to worship God. And, you know, there's a lot of you listening right now who very well may go to a Baptist church. So imagine you get to church and this is what you hear. All right, mind you, while this is going on, you have kids and their parents walking up the stairs trying to go to church. Now here, I'm going to give you guys an accurate picture of what I'm saying. I see one black guy with a bullhorn, see a black lady with the bullhorn, see a white guy with a bullhorn, see another white guy next to him, see another white guy behind him, see another white guy behind him, another white guy behind him, another white guy behind him, another white guy behind him. I don't know what he is. He got on the mask and shades. This other guy, he got on the red bandana over his whole face. They say, so where I'm from, he got on a red bandana over his face, so you can't see him. But based on his hands, I'd say he's not a brother. Another guy, he got a bandana covering his face. I'd say he's not a brother. They got somebody else back here taking the picture, but she is a sister. Then we got some more people in the street, about 10, 12 more people in the street. They're not brothers either. They out there talking, you know, the church is racist. The church is racist. Now, one thing that I noticed is this. I noticed that the church, there's a brother that walked outside of the church, and I don't know if he's a deacon, just a parishioner, but he's a part of the church. I also see a black lady with her children walking into the church. Now, I know how churches go nowadays. There's a lot of these churches and mega churches to where church doesn't exactly look the way that it looked back in the day. When we went to church when I was a child, church was all black. Was all black. You would go to church, New Life Holiness Temple, yes, Lord. And we would go to church from the morning time to the mid-afternoon. Then we get a slight break, and then we'd have to come on back for that good evening service. But now churches are more integrated. You go to these churches and they have black people and white people and Hispanics and Asians and Cambodians and aliens and Neptars and everything else, all in the same congregation. And when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, like I said, I'm not seeing just one particular person, well, one color of person. I'm seeing a multitude of colors of people, as far as people who are parishioners of the church. Now, I'm also seeing the same thing with the protesters. Now, this is the funny part. The protesters are saying, save those kids. Save those kids. And they're yelling it over and over and over. And what is it with the drum? The boom, boom, boom. Every time we talk about protest, somebody got a drum. You see somebody with a drum, you know a protest is coming. But they're protesting because this church decided that they wanted to raffle off an AK-47 to one of their parishioners. And so now Black Lives Matter is saying that they're putting the kids in danger. They're teaching the kids hate. They're teaching them, that you should have guns and this, that, and the third. Okay. I hear you. But see, this is the part that confuses me. Okay, just last week, we sat here and we talked about what is called the CHOP zone, or what was called CHOP zone or Chaz. And in that zone, they had a multitude of shootings. And they didn't shoot anybody with slingshots. They weren't shooting with crossbows. They were shooting with real, live, actual guns. In fact, last week we sat here and we talked about how a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old was shot in the CHOP, in the Chaz, which was a Black Lives Matter zone. So you guys are going to protest the church for passing out guns to their parishioners, but you guys have guns protecting your makeshift neighborhood and using those guns. Now, is this just, I don't get it. Is this just a little bit of hypocriticism here? I mean, are they being hypocritical at this point in time? They're protesting guns. They're protesting a church giving a gun away to one of their parishioners, but they use guns to protect themselves. Are they out there protesting the NFAC, the no F's given correlation or whatever? And I'm just saying, I'm looking at the lack of a real focal point, and it just seems to fling from one thing to another to another. Now, I was watching an interview the other day, and Don Lemon was explaining to Terry Crews that Black Lives Matter is about injustice to Black people. Injustice to Black people, specifically police injustice to Black people. Well, if that's the case, what does that have to do with this church giving one of their parishioners an AK-47? What does that have to do with justice and inequality and police brutality? And so when people try to frame up what it is, it seems very inaccurate because they prove that it's not just about what they're saying it's about. Now it's that we're over at a church. And it's very funny because when I look at it and I listen to it, I know within the Black community, we are encouraging each other to arm ourselves, to protect ourselves, to make sure that we take advantage of the Second Amendment. But now we have Black Lives Matter protesting a church for encouraging one of their parishioners to use their Second Amendment right. So does this make any sense? Does it make any sense? And again, and the reason why I articulated that the church was not just white people, because I don't know if they auctioned that or if they raffled it off to a Black parishioner. So if we are encouraging Black people to arm, and if Black Lives Matter is using arms themselves in their own encampments, then what are they protesting for? What are they protesting these people giving a gun to their parishioner? Let's go over here. Soapbox Heroes caller. You on the line, what's on your mind?
Oh, bro, I got no problem. Of course, you come up with something matter that word.
Okay.
Prominent preachers got some of the biggest churches in Houston with thousands of people that attend their churches. They got their concealed handgun lights.
Right.
I done the deacons, even done J.J. Robertson, Emery. He's gone now, but he was one of my first clients. I mean, them preachers is packed in churches. The deacons, I do a lot of church. Look here, they ain't died to be no lamb, man. To be no.
They don't gotta be no lamb.
You come in this church and do anything else but pray and worship, and you want to do harm, you would get some 9mm, some 45, some 38, and some 22, whatever it don't make, but we gonna neutralize this because we believe we believe in hardcore protection to go along with God's word and wisdom.
Okay, so what do you think about Black Lives Matter protesting this Baptist church for raffling off an AK to one of their parishioners? What do you think? They're at your church, and your church decides that they want to raffle off a gun to one of their parishioners, and they protest it for a month. What do you think?
No, they are totally in error. For simple reason why a handgun in the hands of an owner, it performs two different functions. It can be protection for you, your loved ones, your family, and your property, or you can use it to be aggressive. So I would have been the recipient of the AK-47. I like going through the range. I teach people how to shoot. I'm a rifle NRA trained shotgun instructor, rifle instructor, pistol instructor, home firearm safety prevention instructor for the NRA. I don't believe in philosophy. I want to get those skills to add to my police, T-code police instructor certification. And after I got my conceal back in '95, man, I done done my clients is who's rodeo cowboys, entertainers, fighters, regular people, preachers. No. Black Lives Matter, whoever's in charge of that, need to reorganize their minds and talk to a person like you because it is a good. If you use it for purpose, you remember David and Goliath?
Right.
Remember
that slingshot?
Yes, that's right. With 3 smooth, round stones, that's biblical rendition of it.
Right.
Samson had strength as his shot goes.
Right. Well, see, this is my thing as well. At a time we are encouraging each other to get more involved with protecting ourselves with guns, exercising our Second Amendment rights. And then when we look, because we talk about this stuff, see, we don't just cover one thing. So last week we covered the CHOP zone, we covered the Chaz zone, which was a Black Lives Matter zone, and 2 people got shot. A week after 2 other people got shot.
Yes, but there was a person that did that.
But see, but this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. They're protesting the church for the pastor giving away a gun, but they're using guns themselves.
Absolutely. So, you cannot talk out both sides of your neck when you're talking about reality in the world that we live in.
Right.
Guns are a protection. It's in used in wars along with other unnecessary devices, explosions. But that person is not mature enough to realize the difference between protecting yourself. It's not whether you get shot by AK-47 because back in the 50s, you know what was the deadliest weapon used in homicide?
What was that?
22 caliber.
22, and they break up and fragment in your body.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So it's in the hands of the person. Now, y'all had the weapon. I'm not a threat to humanity. I will use it to defend my property and myself with quite vigor. Because I'm not an aggressive person, but you become aggressive when your life is in danger.
Absolutely.
You have to become a formidable. You have to be that person that's trying to come in on you and be aggressive. You have to put fear in your antagonist's face. And that you ain't one of them dudes fly by night. I'm a good dude, but I got a dark side. I wait for people like you. I am a terminator because we don't need to rehabilitate people that willfully, knowingly, intentionally want to take another human life,
right,
and they profit for their own money.
Right.
Tell them to go get their education and get your own damn job. Kind of wrong. They ain't nothing but a human species that are roasted. They are human roasted, and they are here until we decide to exterminate people that would do ill to our honest members of society.
All
That's
right.
why I became a cop, and I'm a human being, and get you an AK. Tell them give me two of them. Give me one.
All right, Spivey said, give him that AK. Hey, thank you for the call, Spivey. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you too, my man.
Absolutely. Listen over the break. I got something for you.
Oh, man, I'm listening. Oh, I ain't got no choice. I can't help it. I'm addicted.
All right, Spivey. Thanks for the call.
No problem.
Absolutely. Soapbox Heroes caller, you on the line. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, my good brother? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. What's going on? Look, okay. Protesting in front of a Baptist church because they decide to raffle off a gun to one of their parishioners. Pick it up from there. What do you think?
Man, the Gun Cloud Shadow movement has been infiltrated by a bunch of anarchists and Antifa, man. Let's tell it like it is, man. You sprinkle the crowd, you get a picture of what's in the crowd there. You can tell that's not a pure infiltration right there, okay? Let's tell it like it is.
Well, that's why I articulated what I saw in the picture. I'm like, well, you got one brother, you got one black guy, and you got one black girl, and then the rest of these people is white, and then you got some people behind them, and they white too, and you got white people coming out of the church, and then you got some black people coming in the church. So it's like, wait a minute, but I thought Black Lives Matter was about injustice and police brutality. What does a pastor or a church giving a gun to their parishioners have to do with injustice or police brutality?
Nothing whatsoever under the sun, man. It's just a matter of the infiltrators trying to just be anarchists on every topic. They'll use any flag, any podium, any standard, any role model to do their narrative. So they're going to say, Black Lives Matter, let's run with it, and let's say our message, let's do our thing. It ain't got nothing to do with this, like Black Lives Matter.
Well, this will be my question, because they're yelling and screaming, and I can only play so much of the clip because they're cursing so much. Now, these people are going to church, and there's kids walking in with their parents, and they're out there cursing at the top of their lungs trying to tell their parents that they're bad parents. Well, what are you? What are you? You are out there yelling at these people who literally this isn't an injustice. They decide to raffle off a gun to somebody. You see, is that a bit of hypocrisy?
That's horrible hypocrisy. It's like every bit of the extreme hypocrisy you can name. That's horrible.
Let me ask you this. Why isn't the media covering it for what it is? Let's just be honest. Why are they making it as if every protest is peaceful and everybody who says anything is just going against just a peaceful protest? And when you play the sound and when you watch it, they're not peaceful. Now, I've been to some peaceful protests. Don't get me wrong. I've been to plenty of peaceful protests. But these things that we're seeing, these little sporadic uproars, what's peaceful about this, man? What's peaceful about this, Greenland?
Nothing at all. But see, like you said, the media, like CNN, I'm gonna call it, they don't like to show things to show the disruptive behavior of the movement. They want to say, hey, let's show the movement when when the black people are protesting against somebody white. They don't show a combined effort of white people pretending to be participating with black people to do something, but they display a negative message. They don't want to show that.
It was more white people than black people all together. On the whole scene, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 black people protesting. And I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 black people that belong to the church. Everybody else is white.
That's why the media don't want to show what you see and I see. They don't want to show that.
But it's clear as day. It's clear as day. And the thing is, I went and looked at what Black Lives Matter was saying about the church. I went and found some tweets and some conversations, and they're saying they're racist. Now, they never say why they're racist. They're just saying they're racist. And then when you get down to it, the reason that they are mad is literally because they auctioned off a gun. Now, this is my thing, Greenland. At this point in time, are we not encouraging each other to get guns?
Absolutely. We're encouraged to protect our families and loved ones with guns. Sure we are. Of course.
And so if my Black Lives Matter, why are you guys, what are they saying essentially? That we shouldn't have guns? That we shouldn't protect ourselves? Because again, this isn't just the all-white church. They got a brother standing on the porch of the church with a Bible. They got a mother and her kids walking into the church. How do you know she didn't win the raffle? How do you know who that went to? And so where are we going? But then, Greenland, this is my thing. I'll go on in the internet right now and I'll find a video of a man teaching his young children the proper way to use guns. A black man. And we applaud it. But Black Lives Matter is out here telling we're going to call CPS. They call it CPS because the church gave a gun to one of their parishioners. Come on, Greenland, fix this for me. I don't get it. I don't get it.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with them giving the gun to the parishioners. They can give us one. They can give one away a week. I wouldn't care because
it's their business.
We recall that somebody had a gun in the church not long ago, and the guy was attempting to shoot up the church, and they saved people's lives by having a gun in the church. Joe Biden came out and criticized it. So the hypocrisy is all through the air in 2020.
All through the air. And look, and I'm in Houston. I'm in Texas. come mess with somebody. Come mess with, man.
Country, man.
You better go on and do that in New York. Come on down to Texas and you tell these people you protest and you're threatening them. I'm going to call CPS. We're going to do this. They're yelling, cussing, screaming in front of a Baptist church in Texas. I want to see it.
That's horrible, man. Like he said, I mean, Texas is gun country, so you better know what you're talking about in Texas, talking about that gun.
Yeah, but my thing is, at this point in time, we are encouraging each other to arm ourselves. So what are they protesting about? And this is, and again, they use guns themselves in the chop zone. How many people have got killed and shot in the chop zone? That's a Black Lives Matter zone. And also, if you look at the people who were securing the chop zone, they all were armed. They were armed. And look, and don't get it confused and think that they only had black men armed at the chop zone. No, they had white men armed at the chop zone too. And so if you want to talk about how does this make any sense, Greenland, I don't get it.
I'm just as dumbfounded as you are, man. I'm like trying to think, who's running this group and who's in charge? Let me talk to the leaders.
You can't find them. You can't find them. You can't find them. And you're a straight male, so they don't like you. We're going to keep it 100 today. They don't like you. You're a straight male. Go read the manifesto. They say it. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. It's right there. So we're going to keep it all the way 100 today. Go ahead.
So how we have a black movement and the straight male is a threat, is not wanted or not desired in the movement? I don't understand the movement, man.
How we got a black protest with more white people than black people? And they're protesting a church that got a mixture of people, but it looked like more white people in the church, just being honest. But what I'm saying is this. Look, you can't tell somebody else they shouldn't be giving out guns while you using guns yourself. You see what I mean? You don't want to set up that standard. Let me let you get the last word, Green, so I can get to the next call real fast.
You know, everything I said with you just now, you said with me, it just leaves me with one big old question mark that I still ain't got no answer to.
All right, man. I appreciate it. All right. I don't get it. I don't get it. All I'm saying is this. Right now, black people, we are encouraging each other to take arms, to go get your concealed carrier, to learn how to shoot, to go to the range, to be protected, to strap up. But Black Lives Matter is out here protesting because the church gave away an AK to one of their parishioners. Now, are they saying that the parishioner was in the Klan? They're not saying that. They're not saying who the parishioner was. They're not saying nothing. They're just mad at the fact that they gave out a gun. And they're saying they're putting children in danger. Does this even make any sense? Somebody call and let me know how this makes sense. 713-668-1230. Let's go over here to the line. Soapbox Heroes caller, you on the line. What's on your mind?
Fellas, I want y'all to stick with me for a minute, all right?
All right.
I'm up here sipping on a little something right now.
Okay. You must be sipping. Why you feel that way? Go ahead.
That's why I said stick with me. You know what I'm sipping on. Now, come on. Should the church raffle off a fifth of what I'm sipping on?
If they want to, it's their church.
But would that be appropriate? And what was message with the church then if they raffle off a fifth of what I'm sipping on?
The message that they will be sending is that they want their parishioners to be drunk.
Now, let me go back to my original question.
All right.
Would that be appropriate for a church to raffle off what I'm sipping on?
No.
That's inappropriate.
But that's liquor. This is a gun. Those are two different things.
Liquor is legal too. Hold up now.
Yeah.
I keep telling you, stick with me now.
I'm going to stick with you. Go ahead.
About to go into the moral thing.
Let's go.
An AK-47 is used for what? Do you use it for hunting?
Depends who you are. And I'm giving you straight answers.
Now you're going to be cute. You don't use no AK-47 for hunting.
I'm not cute. You know, look, some people don't. I think it's an assault rifle, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why I said stick with it.
I'm with
It's
you.
an assault rifle. It's a combat rifle.
Okay.
It's used for one thing.
Combat.
Killing folks.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
If they done auctioned off the deer rifle, if they done auctioned off a 357 for home protection, a 38, a 25.
Okay.
It was an AK, an assault rifle for people. Can we agree with that?
Yeah, can we agree with that? Can I ask you one question? Can you kill people with any of those guns that you just named?
Man, I can kill people with my bare hand.
I know you can. Go ahead. I know you can. Go. Now you're getting cute. Go ahead. No, I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm just asking. Go ahead.
It's an AK-47.
Okay.
And it's been a deer rifle. I honestly don't believe that'd be a protest. It's been a 357. And it's been a 22, a 25, 45, all that. I don't think. But an AK-47 is an inappropriate weapon for a church to auction morally.
Now let me ask you a question, because you asked the questions. Is that by your morals, or is that just what you feel everybody's morals should be? Because we've had callers that just called and say, "Hey, I wish they would have routed it off to me," and they're very moral people. So are your so hold on. So are your morals the compass of all people's morals, or are those your morals?
My answer to your question is this. The beauty of the country and a democracy is everybody is entitled to live within their own morals inside the law.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I'm a volunteer and have been for 50 years at an abortion clinic. Now, we ain't finished with that.
No, go ahead. I'm with you. I'm listening to you. You're framing things. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I am a firm believer in a woman's right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
A firm believer in that. And if you don't believe in it, fine. But if I'm walking a woman into the clinic and you got to get in my way and stop me physically, I'm going to step on you like a cockroach.
I know you will. Go ahead.
You will not impose your morals on me. You will not impose your standards on me. And I will not impose mine on you.
Okay, here.
Just giving you my opinion.
Okay.
On those assault rifles.
And look, and what you're saying is very valid. Don't get me wrong. What you're saying is very valid. And I had to be quiet and listen to you a little further. And you're saying that it may not be something you like, but it's within the law what they did?
Yeah, it's within the law.
So if it's within the law, but
a church auction something that's nothing more than a killer weapon is a bad thing.
Well, there's some people that you started off with the alcohol. There's some people would call alcohol a killer. It just depends who you are. But I know you're saying that it's similar. You were just giving a variant. Here, let me see. So right here, I got somebody that says, if you put, it says, the civilian version of the AK-47 is not automatic firing. The civilian version is a semi-automatic, just like a pistol. So he's saying it's just like a pistol. That's the mad scientist, Delvin, the expert right there checking in. And so, but this is
and I know how to make that sucker jump. Okay.
Well, you know how to kill somebody with your bare hands. We know not to mess with you.
I'm saying I can take that AK-47 and I know how to make it into an automatic weapon.
Well, see, now you're veering off course because you're talking about what you could do, but you're not talking about how it's manufactured for civilians. So you're saying that's what somebody could do. I could take that liquor bottle and bust somebody over the head.
It's manufactured so that you can do that with it.
Okay.
I think they pay them in certain places, in a certain state.
Okay, and so essentially, and I'm listening to you. So essentially, you're saying if it wasn't an AK, if it was a 22, a 38, a 45, a 9, there wouldn't be no protest.
I'm saying it would not. It's an inappropriate weapon.
Now, this is my thing. You're the first person to make it about the AK. They were mad that they auctioned off a gun. It was the church that ended up coming out saying what kind of gun it was. They were mad that they auctioned off a gun, period. There were children in the church, and they were going to call CPS. Now, mind you, this is a whole month later. They're still protesting, saying they're going to call CPS, and they're not auctioning off anything. And so my thing is, it's about the gun, not about the AK. They're mad they auctioned off the gun. And I'll be honest with you, to me, that's that church's business. If we feel as if it's immoral, or if I feel like if it doesn't put a good image on the church, it don't. I feel like pastors pulling up in Ferraris isn't a good image for a church either. But pastors do it all the time. So image is in the eye of the beholder, right? I mean, to me. That's just how I feel. And I do understand what you feel. And I'm not saying you're wrong because you're entitled to that. But I'm saying,
you are in 100% agreement. It's not a matter of right or wrong. Like my grandfather used to say, it's a matter of what you prefer and how you feel about it. That's the beauty of this country.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. You threw that in there, gave me a good laugh. Yeah. It has been a hostile takeover. Let me let you get the last word, good brother, so I can get to the next caller.
Okay, all I'm going to say is that it sends a bad message. If you can frame it however you want to frame it.
Okay.
People don't go deer hunting, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, no other kind of with AK-47. Okay. I think we have to kind of agree on that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. I'm actually with you. I do think it gives a bad image, but it's their image. It's to them.
A church to auction off a weapon that is designed and manufactured for one thing and one thing only: killing people. It's a bad image.
All right.
But in what used to be our free society, you can do that. Okay? Notice what I said, what used to be our free society.
I noticed that.
You know, when I can't go to my family reunion, I can't attend my 50th college reunion this summer when I graduated, can't go to no wedding, no funeral, no parties, no basketball, no football, no baseball, no. It's big, man. At one point, we just gonna have to realize we living in hell right now.
Yeah.
Everything is gone completely crazy and haywire. Ain't no silver lining on this cloud.
All right, Cecil, have a good evening. Soapbox Heroes caller, you on the line? What's on your mind?
Yes, sir.
What you got going? What do you have going? Look, the protest at the church. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the last caller, but I'm going to add this. The church, I don't care what denomination you is or non-denomination. If you wanted to auction off God and for your parishioners, most of the time you got their addresses and all of that, and you could have told them in the church that we're going to auction this off, but we're not going to auction it off in the church.
Okay.
We're supposed to be Christians and all of that and love the Lord and all that kind of stuff. That don't want to kill nobody unless threatening and whatever.
Well, what if the reason for auctioning off the gun was for protection?
No, but if you're a Christian, don't auction it off in the church.
What's the difference of auctioning it off in the church or taking it to their home if you're still giving them the gun?
No, they can pull the number, whatever, and then call you and let you know, hey, you was the winner. You can pick your gun up, but don't come up here to the church and pick it up.
Okay, so you don't like the fact that they gave it out in church. You would have rather them do it in private.
If you're supposed to be a Christian and love the Lord and all of this, I don't care what color you is. You was wrong for doing it. The church was wrong. Now, ain't nothing wrong, but the people being gone and going in the church to worship. But you auction it off of God in church.
Okay.
People have gods in churches now on account of the stuff that went on.
Well, and at this point in time, people are being urged to arm themselves and protect themselves.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And so it's wrong to do it in church?
But you don't do it. Don't auction off no God in church.
Okay, I hear you.
That's the Lord's house.
Okay, I hear you.
Whoever you worship.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I appreciate it. Let me let you get the last word. You say that's the Lord's house. Here, go ahead and explain one more time for anybody getting into the car why you say that was a bad idea. I just like to make sure it's clarified.
In that church.
Okay.
Presbyterian, Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, whoever, Lutheran, whoever.
Okay.
You don't do that at church.
Okay.
Now, I didn't never say you couldn't take no gun in the church. I said I should have off a gun.
Okay, so you could take it in church.
Ain't good for nothing but carry.
Right. Well, I think that's what I think that's what all guns are for.
You ain't no gun. You ain't no gun no church for no
8847. Okay. So they can have a gun in church. They can leave church with a gun.
Yeah, you can have a gun or whatever. But you ain't going up in there with no shotgun. You ain't going in the church with no shotgun, and you ain't going in there with no AK-47.
All right. Okay. Hey, I appreciate the call. Let me take this last one before the hour.
You need to think about it.
Oh no, I hear you. I hear absolutely. I hear you. I hear you. And look, I'm not bashing what you're saying. I'm learning. I'm listening. I'm learning. I appreciate you. So, Box Heroes, caller, you on the line? What's on your mind?
Hey, brother, I normally don't call back to back, but I just got to call back about the gun conversation up here. First of all, if you do your due diligence and look at research of the black church, right during the Klan era back in the early 1800s, 1900s, black people were packing guns in the church, and they were giving away church guns to the parishioners in the church. So we need to knock this monkey business off about God's house and then no guns getting passed around. Let's knock this off.
Yeah, well, this isn't the first time I've heard of a pastor giving out a gun in the church either. This is the first time that I've heard it's become a protest and became there's an issue about it. And so I've never heard it really be an issue before. And, and I understand what he's saying about the perception of it and this, that, and the third. But perception is in the eye of the perceiver. Some people feel as if it's totally okay. And so what I'm saying is if that's those people's church and the people within the church are okay with it, who am I to say that it's not? Because morality is based on what you believe is moral. And so some people believe that, yeah, we're giving out guns to our parishioners because we feel it's moral for them to protect themselves or have a gun or whatever. Some people feel as if it's not moral. What I'm saying is I don't see no reason for me to protest it or feel as if I'm the one that needs to get out there and tell them, well, I'm going to call CPS. This is their church. What's happening inside of their church is what's happening inside of their church. That's just my opinion.
Here's another caveat too. So many Christians are saying they're pro-life. The cheerleaders of abortion, like the gentleman that called earlier said that he worked and he was security whatever at abortion clinic. Well, if he's a Christian and God says thou shalt not kill, what Lord was killing babies that are fully developed inside of a woman's womb and stomach? Explain that to me. I need to understand that.
So one is moral, one's not. It's not moral to give away a gun in church, but abortion is moral. I don't know. But again, that's why I say. Well, that's why I say morality is within the eye of who's judging it. Because, there are plenty of people who don't see, I honestly don't see a problem with it. Because I can't make a snap judgment and say, oh, well, whoever they gave it to is going to murder people. They're going to use it to mow down groups. You can't say that. You can't say that without having a clue. Whoever got the gun may never use it. And so that's just a guess, in my opinion. And it's a far-fetched guess if you don't have any facts to point to that or anything like intrinsically even like an inclination to point to that. You see, and so, and I know a lot of people that got AKs. I know black people with AKs, white people with AKs. and I know a lot of people with AKs that's never ever in their life thought about hunting down people or anything like that. And so, that's just based on a person's personal preference.
Perception.
Right.
That's perception. Okay. Another thing, I can see how wrong if they gave away the gun and say, we're going to give you a year's supply of rounds. That's different. But they're not insinuating that we give you a gun to go out there and start shooting. They didn't do that. They just rifled off a gun that's popular. Something that people like is popular. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and my thing was this about the BLM protesting it was because, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if you're mad at an AK because it could kill somebody, then you have to be mad at the guns that was used at your events that killed people. Because I don't care. I mean, let me say I don't care what anybody says, because I do care. But in my mind, if I kill you with a 38 or if I kill you with an AK, you dead. You dead. And so to be okay with saying it's okay if it was another kind of gun, or it was okay if you did the raffle and we took it to your house, you're still giving away a gun. And if the goal is by that person to murder people, it's still murdering people.
That's right.
And so that's my thing. And then I look at this again, I look at it a bit hypocritical, because at the same time, I can show you a post where people are cheering this man, and he got an AK. His kids got guns, and he teaching them how to break it down, put it together, and how to use it. And I thought it was beautiful. And so how am I going to see a problem with this pastor giving away a gun to his church members? An AK. I'm going to say an AK so people don't say you're trying to skirt the fact that it was an AK. So the pastor he gave an AK-47 to his parishioner. Do I find a problem with that, me personally? No, but that's just me.
I don't need to. I mean, it don't matter if you give a 38 liability or a 5, an AR-15. It's just, I don't see the difference. I know we talk crazy to some people, but they all designed to do the same thing. They all do the same thing. They fire. They all can kill equally. There's no difference. The 22 is different. I don't see the argument.
Hey, I understand what he's saying about the look of it, about people getting the wrong impression of it. But then my opinion on that is, well, who's getting the impression? You see what I mean? Everybody isn't going to take it the same way, because I don't get offended by that. That doesn't offend me. What offends me more, like I said, is when pastors pull up in a $200,000 luxury car while they got people sitting in the church starving to death, and then they lose their spirit, they lose their drive to continue to try to find God, because they feel like, well, I'm not getting it how this person did. That bothers me more. It bothers me more when pastors be selling lies and be selling, here, we're gonna, just pray, and you're gonna wake up with $1 million in your account, so they can get their tithes up. That bothers me more than a pastor rifling off a gun. Now what that person does with that gun is up to them. Now, if it comes back and that person mows down people with that, I'll say, yeah, that's where it started. But that's still their behavior, because they didn't need the pastor to give them the gun to go do that. That's what you follow me?
I'm probably 100%. It's funny. I got one last thing to say what you made a point about. In California, if you buy AR-15, California requires you to change the look of it and sell it from California. So everything is like you said, is perception. If you make the AR look like it's pumped down, you take the cladding off of it, you just get a metal barrel, and then you put a little bit of covering. And then it doesn't even look like an AR-15. But people buy it because of the look. So everybody has their own little conversation of what makes things different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I want to add one thing real quick about the gentleman that called. There's one thing that I respect them, period, regardless, but I respect the fact that they kept it very even. They say it don't matter who church it was. And so I do respect that. It wasn't, oh, well, it's okay for this church, but not okay with that church. They were very, very solid in them being against what they were doing. So I do respect that. I do respect that.
But there's our culture in our society. We have to understand that guns are part of the American culture. Whether we like it or not, it's part of our culture.
Well, what I'm saying is there are plenty of people who they don't find that immoral at all. In fact, if the people in that church found it immoral, they would be protesting themselves. So that's my point. So for somebody to say it's immoral, well, what do the people in the church think? They seem to be coming back. So you know.
That's one twisted situation that's just gonna, I don't know, man. I mean, it kind of has my mind boggled a bit. It's like, I don't think the people inside are not upset, but the people outside are upset. I don't get it.
And the people outside use guns to protect themselves. And so, you know, and they're saying that it's the children you're putting in danger, but I don't know.
It's humanity outside of the church. Putting the stain on God's grace.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about morals, so it's morally wrong to give away a gun, but it's morally right. But they didn't say that though, so I'm not going to say that they said that. That wouldn't be fair. But people are yelling and screaming and cursing in front of the church, in front of kids. So, you know, and they don't find that immoral, the people who are doing it. And so, hey, man, it is what it is. But I thank you for the call, International Man of Intrigue. All right, brother. Soapbox Heroes caller, you on the line? What's on your mind?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on? How you feeling? What do you think about the gun in the church?
Well, fuck that. I need a sugar daddy.
You need a sugar daddy. Do me a favor. Don't curse.
Y'all was good.
Don't curse. Now, you need a sugar daddy. You want us to send you one?
Yeah, please.
All right, here. We'll send you a sugar daddy. What you want? Tall, short, fat, skinny? What you want? What kind of sugar daddy you want?
All right. So, like, I was looking for, like, a tall, fat man who got the money and will spoil me. I need sugar daddy.
So you want a tall, fat man to spoil you. What do you mean spoil you? You mean tell you that you're cute or give you money?
Sugar daddy.
Okay, but what are you doing to deserve a sugar daddy? Why would a sugar daddy want to give you his sugar? Why?
Because I don't give him my cookies. I have a special recipe for my grandma.
Well, but that don't mean that your cookies are good. You can have cookies, but some cookies come out burnt and don't taste good.
Like cooking, like special recipe, not cookies.
I know all cookies aren't good. Oh, you're going to give him your cooking.
Yeah, cooking, not cookies.
Oh, so you're going to cook so well that a man is going to want to just pay for your everything. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, if your cooking is so good, then why are you looking for a sugar daddy and you don't have one?
I don't even know.
Sounds like you don't cook that well.
Okay.
Whatever you say, have a good one. Oh, all trolls are accepted. Don't think that I don't run. I don't run. I don't run. This is Soapbox Heroes, a run-free area. We'll be right back right after this. I don't know who that was. Oh man, y'all hear that? Talking about I need a sugar daddy. What you say she need to drink with Ernest? Y'all leave Ernest alone. Ernest wouldn't do that. Ernest just be enjoying himself. Hey, Delvin, they should know we don't run from trolls. I think it's hilarious. Apparently her cooking ain't that good and she need us to help her get a sugar daddy. I'ma give him my cooking. You'll call and disrespect and curse. Look, if you gonna troll, don't curse. But you can troll. You can troll. I'm good at that. Betty Boo is a no-run zone. We don't run. We don't run. You gotta go by Ernest. Oh man, leave my boy Ernest alone. Ernest ain't got nothing to do with this. I'll put you through right after this song. Oh yeah, we don't be doing all that running. Hey, she said, I need a sugar daddy. Man, we're delving the expert at what I need. Delvin, I know you wish you would have taken that call. Oh man. So look, what do you guys think? Do you think that the pastor or the church was wrong for raffling off the AK to one of their parishioners? What do you think? I don't find a problem with it. I don't think it's any of my business. I feel as if the church members don't like it, they can leave. You do not have to go to that church. You don't have to go to that church. And if there was nothing illegal done, how can I say that that's immoral? That's moral to some people. That's where some people morals lie. So for other people to say it's immoral, well, maybe to you, but you don't go to that church. And my thing is this. How are they protesting a church giving away a gun, but they're not protesting the fact that people got killed with guns in their own zone? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's just an argument. It's like they just wanted people to acquiesce to whatever they want. Whatever they want. Yeah, it's like a hostile takeover. And I mean, it is what it is, but I'm not gonna act like it's not, you know what I mean? They've been protesting in front of this church for a month. And when they say Black Lives Matter, it's black little kids walking in there, and you guys are cursing at their parents. If you said, what'd you say, Delvin, if they were to raffle off a bag of meth? Right, that would be different. Then we'd have a problem. But they not. And we might not like it, or some people might not like it, but it is what it is. Different churches. What if you got devil churches that are Satanists? What can they raffle off? You might find everything they do immoral, but that's their church. I thought it was immoral to make me sit in church for 4 hours at a time. But they did. You did? We're about to come back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Let me get over here to the phones. I think this is, let me see. Soapbox Heroes calling you on the line. What's on your mind? Yes, it is. You want one too, PK? Yes, I do. PK, why she got to call with the foul language first? We can help her out, but you don't got to use the foul language.
I'm being very professional.
I know you. We know you, PK.
I haven't said nothing wrong yet.
Well, PK, we know you nothing but you a lady. But her, we can help her out.
But let me tell you, my friend, when you go get the sugar daddy, tell him we're going to spend the week in the city at his house, and then on the weekend we come to the beach house in my house.
Ooh. So those are just sugar parents. That's just passing sugar. That's giving some sugar to get some sugar. Y'all making Kool-Aid.
I think what she was saying at first too, that she broke it down. So I've been listening to the people with the AKs and everything. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, look, this is my thing about that, PK. If those people in that church find it okay, then what am I to say about it? They're not doing nothing to hurt anybody. But my thing is this: the group that's protesting, they're protesting them giving away a gun, and they're saying that they're putting children in danger by giving away the gun. But it's been 4 people shot in a Black Lives Matter area, and they not protesting their own guns.
Right. And not only that, it's been a couple of months ago, but they kept running on the news where the attendants, whatever you call them, carried their own weapons, and this person tried to shoot the people in the church. So if the church didn't have guns, he would have killed a lot of people. Right. And at this point, again, we are encouraging people to take arms. And I know us as Black people are encouraging people to take advantage of your Second Amendment right. So, and when they say take advantage of your Second Amendment right, they're not saying, oh, but anything but an AR. No, they're saying get whatever you need to protect your family. And so if we're cheering it in one facet, then how do we get mad at it in another facet? And one of the callers said the place, but I do understand his sentiment. I understand it. I just say, but that's not my business if that's what they want to do. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't go there. Right. It's a new day and a new time. Everything has changed. Everything has changed. It is, PK, but you know what ain't changed? She can't call here with that foul language looking for a sugar daddy. She might only get salt. I know that's right. She done ran everybody away. That's all right. Somebody gonna teach her. Well, PK, she said that, she'd give him her cooking. And PK, if her cooking was so good, she wouldn't be looking for a sugar daddy, PK. You know what? I've had people that tell me how great their cooking was, come taste this, and I'm like, oh my God. And the chicken tastes like wood. And broke your back teeth. They really believe that cooking is really, really good. But nobody asked you for a plate to go. Nobody asked for a plate to go. Right. Man, absolutely, PK. I appreciate you so much, PK. When I heard you, I said, I think I know who that is. Yeah, I be listening all the time. Whether I call in or not, I'm listening because I don't want the people like, oh man, she calling, we're gonna never get a break. No, y'all call in. Oh, we love you, PK. We're gonna take your call every time. Okay. Absolutely. Have a wonderful evening. Yeah, you guys. And so look, it is what it is. And like I said, I understand the people when they're sentiment, when they're saying they don't think it's a good look for the church. And I get that. And I think those are individual things. I'm going to take these calls real quick, and then we're going to get to the next subject. Soapbox Heroes, caller, you on the line? What is on your mind?
Yeah. The girl, or the one that called in was cussing, and she was wrong for that.
She was wrong, wasn't she? Go ahead.
But what she was saying, she didn't say her cooking in the kitchen. She was saying her cooking.
Well,
now you want to think about that. You know what she's talking about.
Well, look, I asked her. I said, you said your cookie?
Every still may not be that good.
You know what? Because look, every cookie ain't a good cookie. Oh, we know that. Look, you might have a burnt cookie, you might have an old cookie, you might have a stale cookie, you might have a snail cookie. I don't know about that cookie.
That's what she was trying to say, like she was all in the bag of chips.
Well, then why is she looking? Why is she looking?
Hey, everything looks good, it ain't good.
But she's looking, so it might not even, I'm going to leave that alone. But you know what I mean.
We know.
Look, are you a candidate? Are you a candidate? Should we put you on the sugar daddy list just in case we get a call?
Sugar who?
My man. Sugar what?
I ain't ain't giving up nothing unless I can. If I can't get something from you. That's all.
She must not have heard it. We need to play it loud. Oh man.
And your cooking, that's the only thing you got to give.
Yeah, look.
First time around ain't gonna be no second time around.
Look, have you ever made some cookies and then they stick to the bottom of the pan?
I've been there.
How you know her cookies ain't stuck to the bottom of the pan?
And then I had to lie.
Why you had to lie?
I had to lie about it.
Oh, you got caught with your hands in the cookie jar.
And it wasn't the last cookie in the cookie jar.
Oh.
The cookie jar was full, but I said,
I don't want no more of them cookies, and you know what kind of cookies not to get.
You understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely, exactly. Go ahead.
And another thing that I was saying about the AK-47. Okay, just think about up in the church, and they starting from the back, right?
Right.
And they start spraying people. They like kill about 10 people for me and you and Billy Roy and all that. Can get out of right? Because he came in shooting.
Right.
He's spraying.
Right.
But if you got a pistol, whatever,
you can't spray.
You can shoot that many people.
That's true.
Can get to you.
That's true. That's true.
And you don't know what they're gonna have if a fool break up in the church.
That's true. Do you think that the pastor in the church was wrong for giving the parishioner an AK?
Yeah, I think they were wrong for doing it in the church, not giving it away.
In the church, right?
In the church.
I can understand that. I can understand that. That's not something that.
And see, church is where you go to worship and get blessed and get blessed. And
they did get blessed. They got blessed with a new AK, and they probably said, "Yes, Lord."
Hey, well, number one of us get blessed.
The blessings wasn't passed, and neither was the cookies.
But that's what she was talking about. It wasn't that cookie at the house.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm gonna get to the next subject. I appreciate you. We about to talk to cookies. In fact, right now, we about to talk about cookies. So I appreciate you. You have a wonderful evening. Oh, you guys, yeah. Look, I want to talk about cookies. I want to talk about cookies, and I want to talk about cookies for a specific reason. All right. So what I have here is an article in front of me, and the article is talking about couples wearing masks. You know what? Let me play some mood music for this. Hold on. Let me play some mood music. Oh yes. It says couples should wear face masks during sex. New study insists. It doesn't say the new study says. It doesn't say the new study suggests. It doesn't say the new study is saying, maybe you should. It's saying new study insists. All right. Safe sex during the coronavirus pandemic may soon be required protection beyond just the nether regions. So basically, you're going to need something more than a condom. All right, it says a new study from researchers at Harvard University says that hooking up carries some risk of transmitting COVID-19 from one partner to the other and recommends, among other practices, wearing a face mask while doing it. While you're bumping uglies, They want you to put on a face mask. So tell your girl, yes, that negligee is beautiful. And so is the mask to match. Researchers published in the anal, and I'm not playing, that's what it says. In the Annals of Intern Medicine, ranked frisky situations based on how likely it is to catch coronavirus while in the act. Researchers recommend wearing a mask for the riskiest sexual scenario. Sex with people other than those whom one is quarantined. If you have been out of the house, if you go out the house to see your coronavirus crush, study says, besides keeping your mask on, you should avoid kissing, any oral to anal act, and anything else that involves semen or urine. Shower before and after. Okay. Now aren't these things that you should be doing anyway? Aren't they, and so wait a minute. So the shower can wash off the coronavirus? Is that what I'm hearing? They say you should shower before and after. But if you already got the Rona, then what is the shower gonna do? All right, it says, if you have it, oh no, I already read that. Oh no, it says, if you have an out-the-house coronavirus crush, the study says, besides keeping your mask on, you should avoid kissing, any oral to anal act, anything else that involves semen or urine. Shower before and after, and clean the space with alcohol. Clean the space with alcohol. Now, when they say clean the space with alcohol, what space are they talking about? Are they talking about the space where you just did the horizontal polka? Are they talking about the space on your body where things land? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Some of these things seem like common sense. But it says more. It says more. Matter of fact, let me start my mood music again. I like the way this starts. Isn't the song so appropriate? It's so appropriate. So it says you should wipe down the space with alcohol wipes or soap. And I would hope that you wipe down your space anyway, all right? The study also mentions that having sex with people who are together in quarantine is safer. But, and as my dad always says, when you hear a but, that means something's wrong. And we're talking about the but with one T, not two, all right? But there is still a risk. For instance, if one partner goes outside to run an errand and is exposed to the coronavirus, they can transmit it to the other, even if that person is ultimately asymptomatic carrier. They can still infect others. So when you bump uglies, you guys may both be sick. Now, you may not know you're sick, but you got to put on masks so you don't make nobody else sick. And if you want to make it, baby, if you want to make it sexy, if you want to make it sexy, just make sure that mask matches the drapes. Hey, you guys, and so look, it says the safest approach to sexual activity, according to the researchers, is not having any. Oh, they try to drive y'all crazy. They gonna tell you to stay at home. You can't go nowhere. We in the epicenter. And they're saying that you're not supposed to get no cutting. You're supposed to stay away from the loving. Well, that's the safest thing to do, all right? They say that is the safest thing to do, all right? Again, it says the safest approach to sexual activity, according to the researchers, is not having any. Abstinence, they say, is low risk for infection through no feasible or any means of another option they added is, another option they added is masturbation. Pamela and her 5 sisters. Mm-hmm. And so they're saying that's what you want to do. Stay abstinent or masturbate. And that, my friends, is the way you stay away from the Rona. So when you come in the house and your man got the mood right, got your bathtub, you got the bath water ran, got rose petals leading from the bathtub to the bed, tell him to just make sure he put a mask on that bed. Because they saying that even if you are quarantined with someone, you need to wear a mask. They saying you need to wear a mask. And so when it comes down to it, you guys, I mean, it just is what it is. This is the new world that we are living in. Over here, are you guys wearing a mask when you bump uglies? You got, oh yeah, let me put on that mask. And see what happens, you got to slow down your pace. You can't have all that fast hip thrust and all that stuff. You get to breathing hard, and now you got to take off the mask. Oops, I gave you Corona and BD. What do we do? Which one do you want? So hey, you guys, look, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. The experts say so. And again, they didn't ask, they insist. They insist. And so, look, I want to know if anybody wants to tell me that they are out, and, not out, well, I guess in. Are you guys going to wear a mask? Are you guys going to wear a mask? Are you going to wear a mask? And again, you guys say, listen to the experts. Well, these are experts. These people came from Harvard. They came from Harvard, and they said that you should not have sex. The safest way to not transmit coronavirus to a partner is to not have sex. They want you to go home, or will not go home, by your home. They want you to get to know yourself a little better. They want you to get to know yourself a little better. So, hey, you guys, look, again, I don't make the rules. I'm just talking about them. Look, I got this out the New York Post. You can go look at it yourself. You can look at it yourself. You can look at it yourself. They are saying that if you don't want to spread the coronavirus, that you need to wear a mask when you bumping uglies with your baby. So how do we make this romantic, you guys? How do we make this romantic? And again, they're saying, they give the risk. They say, well, even if you are quarantined with someone, you should still put on a mask for the simple fact that somebody may leave and come back with the coronavirus. They're saying you both may be asymptomatic, but still you need to put on a mask. And so not only do you need to wear a rubber before you get under the cover, you got to put on a mask before you tap that glass. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is, you guys. Hey, are you guys playing by the rules? Are you guys playing by the rules? I don't think you guys are playing by the rules. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it is very hard to make that sale. I don't know if people are going to listen to that, you guys. But again, look, I don't make the rules. I just tell them again, if you want to go source this yourself, this is from the New York Post, June 2nd, 2020. So yeah, I reached back. I thought it was funny. And look, on the picture, they have a couple and they're kissing with a mask on. Now, see, come on now. And they got on one of them blue masks that you could breathe through. So they're kissing with a mask. They can still pass the COVID. They can pass their COVIDs. They could pass the COVIDs. Demo, what's happening with you, man? Demo says, we will both get it because I'm tapping that. Yeah, look. Can you imagine they say, yo, we want you to stay home. You're staying home for months on end. You can't go to work, but you sure can jerk. Well, that's what they're saying, not me. I just said it in a different way. But I think that'll drive people crazy, you guys. I don't know if people is actually going to follow through with their guidance. I don't know. I don't know. The phone's not ringing. You guys are keeping quiet on this one. I think that you guys, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. Yep, I get it. You guys are out there right now. Jay Bush, what's going on? John Bush, I got an article in front of me right now, Bush. JB, the article say that if you are making love with your boo-boo, then you should put on a mask. Even if you guys have been quarantined together. And the best way to prevent anything is to not have no sex at all. Just masturbate. This is Soapbox Heroes. My name is Tyrone. I will be right back right after this. What up, JB?
What it is, yo, what's up? Can I play just keep in touch? Crack you up like you ain't been. Show us all how to really give it up. Give me your number, and I'll call, and I'll follow the thing in the mall. Take it home so we can do it all. While the thing tear down your what is the uncle? What's the business, baby? I've been on your own, baby. Always like you look good. I think I see your with your friends dressed up, trying to find me good. But anyway, don't just drop a number or something, so I can call you later on your phone. Take it home, and maybe we can do something. There's no need to get busted. I'm digging in you some business. Put you to the city kitchen, some food. You delirious. I might have say you taste something different. With your pretty brown skin like I'm enjoying the kisses, and you are certified scholar. Number one scholar that takes sticks from the back of my pocket. Bitch you over, and I'll call you straight to the room. Where it goes down,
in the Legion of Doom.
What it is, yo, what's up? Can I play just keep in touch? Crack you up like you like this. Show us all how to really give it up. Give me your number, and I'll call, and I'll follow the thing in the mall. Take it home so we can do it all. While the thing tear down your house. You know the deal before we play these still. Damn it, hot, see you like it don't melt. You know I get it to you till you run out of breath. Yeah, but some all over yourself. The first time I called, you were chilling on. Then it not of your jaws, I would leave that. Take your man, break the laws, from a player was the cause. And every time you seen G, you was slipping off the road. I met your take them all. In the ball, you were one with the cherry sauce. Let me take you home, show you how to get caught up in the west. You fuck like you ain't been. Turn the back, man, to the side, to the front, turn around. You got to ride, I smack the thighs either way that you want, man. So don't see about them and them all get. And that's the show. What it is, yo, what's up? And I'm there just keep in touch. Crack you up like we like that. Show us all how to really give it up. Give me your number, and I'll call, and I'll follow the thing in the mall. Take it home so we can do it all. Right thing tear down your house. Put the business, like, can I get it? I like the way your hands move against my, cause you know what? But the minutes out and came out with your pretty brown skin, deep thighs, and all 35 to see. And you smell it to me. Maybe we exchange numbers, sales up in a week, or do a free. I do it from the first time I saw you, the way you played with the tongue. I knew right then I would call you, so put it in. They call me the people in the video, and I'ma tell you like this, cause the players so real and stay true. Cause all I wanna do is just
Put that in the air, and the guess I'm a kill. And I feel your love do it up on the heel. They get an inch from my eye, just to know how I feel. Your good chill. And centralize it for a minute. While you lay on your back, and I dig all in it. And it is on. What's up? Can I play a chess deep in turn? Crack you up like you ain't been. Show us all how to really give it up. And give me your number. And I'll call. And I'll follow that thing in the mall. Take you home so we can do it all. While I'm being tearing down your house.
We are back. We are back. We are back. Final stretch. We're in a final stretch, you guys. It always comes too soon. It always comes too soon. Yeah, y'all, if y'all don't got on y'all mask when y'all bumping uglies, y'all not listening to the experts, and I'm telling. Don't let me find out, I'm telling. Hey, you guys, look, I want to talk about what young black voters feel. All right? Young black voters. All right? Now, this is coming out of USA Today, but it's also was written Associated Press, AP, which means that you can find this from different sources, and you're pretty much going to get the same story. All right? It says, elections. Young black voters say they aren't enthusiastic about Joe Biden presidency. All right. Says Washington. Perry Green doesn't believe that Joe Biden is listening to the young black Americans and what they want right now. Across the country, young people are protesting systematic racism and calling on political leaders to reallocate funding from local police and other community resources. All right. Green, who is black, criticized Biden for not supporting the defund police movement that many activists support. You got black youth across the country calling for defunding the police, and he's thinking differently. Says, and a couple of days later, in the midst of the protests, Biden's campaign says, let's spend more money on community policing. All right. And that's what and that's what we talk about a lot, is what people want and what people do. What people want and what people do. People don't always do what you want. And in this case, this man right here is saying that, you know, in the midst of people protesting all these things, Joe Biden don't want to do it. And then he throws something else in there that doesn't really line up with what they want. You see, he says, let's spend more money on community policing. Not let's defund the police or reallocate funds from the police. All right. Green, 34, lives in Alameda, California, and said he's undecided on whether he will vote for Biden after supporting Senator Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary. But he also added if he was living in a swing state like Ohio or Michigan or Pennsylvania, he would be voting for Joe Biden. All right. And see, it's important that we add that part because that's what's there. That's what he said. Now you guys, you know, there are other media outlets that would have took that part off because they want to build a narrative. But what we are going to do is read what they said, right? That's what we do. I think that if I were to see the campaign attempt to engage with more grassroots leaders, that would make me feel a little more encouraged about voting for Biden, Green said. With November election 4 months away, polling shows Biden support with younger black voters trailing significantly behind that of older black voters. Now, this is something that I've talked about in the past. We've spoken about this in the past, and I said there is a clear divide in the Black community when it comes to age and who you want to vote for. Older Black people are very, very solidly okay with Joe Biden. Younger Black people are not. And I would venture to say not only younger Black people, younger people in general are not just real comfortable with Joe Biden. All right, we're going to read some more. All right. And it says, and while polls show the majority of young Black voters supported Biden over Donald Trump, many are unenthusiastic at best, hesitant at worst. Black voters of all age have been a pillar of the Democratic Party coalition for decades, and a strong turnout from the Black community, particularly in key battleground states such as Michigan and Florida, will be key for Biden to take the White House in November. I think that this time for Joe Biden to be explicitly clear on his stance, said Stephanie Brown James, who led Obama for America's effort to engage African American leaders and voters in 2012. So let me say something right here. Now, this is somebody who worked for Obama, helped get out the vote. And even this person is saying that Joe Biden needs to be clear about his stance. Now, I wonder why so many people get so mad at me when I say this man needs to be clear about where he stands and stop sitting on the fence about everything. And so I just want to throw it out there that an Obama representative said it before everybody be like, Tyrone, shut up. I'm going to be like, well, somebody who worked for Obama said it. And if they said it, it must be right. So why wouldn't I say it? Why do it have to be wrong? Well, why do it have to be wrong? You know, thank you, Stephanie Brown James. You know what I mean? And she says, who led Obama for America's effort to engage African American leaders and voters in 2012. And she says, don't skirt around the issue. Talk to these young people directly, and then have policies that he's championing to show how he wants to push for this progressive change to happen. It's not me, you guys. You don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reading our article. Now, it does sound a bit like what we say. But again, this is Stephanie Brown James, CEO and founding partner of the Vestige Strategies and former director of the National African American Vote for the Obama for America campaign. All right. So it's not me. It's not me. It's not me telling him to, stop hiding under a rock and talk to these people. You just want to win on the back. Oh, Trump sucks. We know that. But what about you? All right. It says data shows split between older and younger Black voters. And we've been talking about this for months. It says younger voters who come of age during President Obama's administration, where Biden was vice president, have higher expectations of their politicians and likely want to see a more progressive Democrat in office, said Cheryl Lauren, assistant professor of government at Bowdoin College, all right, and author of Steadfast Democrats, How Social Forces Shape Black Political Behavior. It says young Black voters are going to have some reservations about Joe Biden, Laird said, adding the Biden represents a very clear image of status quo politicians within the Democratic Party. And that's what people are sick of. Young people are sick of let's keep it the same when the same is not good. Let's keep it very milquetoast. Let's just keep it how it is. And younger black people are saying, well, keep it how it is. Why do we want to keep it how it is if we're seeing that 96% of police officers don't get prosecuted for killing people? Why do we want to keep it how it is when we see the wealth gap keep rising on us? Why do we want to keep it how it is when we see how our neighborhoods have a lack of funding, a lack of attention? Now, yeah, it might not be so bombastic on Twitter, but the results are the same. And I find with older voters, they're like, look, we don't care if you keep it the same. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. just be quiet. All right. And then they go on to say older voters, and particularly, look, you guys, this isn't me. This is USA Today. Older voters, and particularly older black voters, are more pragmatic when it comes to deciding who to vote for, because they have seen that change takes time. All right. And so they're saying that since older voters understand that change takes time, they don't want no change. All right. Biden has moments of problematic commentary or statements, Larrett said, and they don't really see him as the direction that takes the party to a more progressive lean. Still, voting for the Democratic candidate is the norm within the black community, Larrett said. A young black voter will likely fall in line. A Pew Research study this year found that the majority, 68% of black Democrats, described themselves as either moderate or conservative. Now, isn't that strange? 68% of polled Democrats call themselves moderate or conservative. But in 2016, for example, 89% of all black voters supported the Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton. So black voters are conservative by numbers, but vote against the conservatism by more numbers, 89%. So 68% of black Democrats describe themselves as either moderate or conservative. Well, Hillary Clinton was a moderate. Joe Biden is a moderate. They're very close to being conservatives. Well, let me see. They can't find a war that they don't like. Check, that's conservative. They take all their money from corporations. That's pretty conservative. I don't know. So let me go on a little more. I don't imagine that young black voters going to vote if they are planning to vote. In voting for Donald Trump, she said, adding that they will likely vote for Biden, but not happy about it. All right, let me read that again. I don't imagine any young black voters going to vote. So this is what we have to listen to right there. She's saying she don't imagine no young black voters are going to go vote. But the ones who will may vote for Biden reluctantly. But I do think it's funny that she doesn't think that any young black voter is going to vote. That would make me think that she's having some type of indication that's telling her that. Now, I don't know if she says it. Let's read a little bit more. Let's read a little bit more. James noted, it is a critical year for young black voters to be engaged, and it feels as though they are a part of the process because young black voters are not waiting, all right? And will move forward how they feel is best, James said. It is crucial for Biden to take a step back and meet with young activists in this moment. Do you guys remember the WikiLeaks stuff that came out where Hillary Clinton was saying, stay away from the black activists? Oh yeah, I know you guys forgot about that. I know you guys forgot about that. All right, it says being able to say in a no mince words, yes, I know that Black Lives Matter because X, Y, and Z is important to James, who said, as also CEO of Vested Strategies and co-founder of the Collective PAC. All right. Scroll down here, it says 91% of black voters 65 and up say they plan to vote for Biden. 91%. And he haven't told you guys he was going to give you anything, but he's not Donald Trump. 68% of black voters from the age 18 to 29 said they plan to vote for Biden. 68%. That's a big percentage. More than 20 percentage points fewer than black voters 65 and up. So there is a gap. There is a gap, a 25-point gap in between older voters and younger voters. All right. In 2016 election, Democrat Hillary Clinton drew 85% of young black voter support and won 93% of seniors. So Hillary Clinton had 2% more of seniors. Joe Biden has 91% of seniors, but Hillary Clinton had a lot more young black support. And I remember vividly, young black supporters really didn't support her either. 13% of black voters aged 18 to 29 said they plan to vote for Trump. 13%. Interesting. A recent Washington Post ISPAS poll published in June found that 92% of black registered voters said they plan to vote for Joe Biden in November. But see, what I wonder is how many of those registered voters were older? Because we know that older voters go vote more, all right? But it was a near even split as to why. 50% of black registered voters surveyed said that it was mainly because they opposed Trump, while 49% said they mainly support Biden. So 50% of people, according to this poll, are voting for Joe Biden just because he's not Donald Trump. And I hear that all the time. I hear, well, he's not Trump, he's not Trump, he's not Trump. And then it says, history. Recent comments drew criticism from young and black Americans. In the earlier weeks of the Democratic primary contest, Biden was badly trailing Sanders, but overwhelming support from black voters, particularly older black voters, delivered Joe Biden a stunning turnaround. So look, older black voters, Joe Biden owes you. Joe Biden owes you. Joe Biden was getting his butt kicked. He had no chance. And according to this article, black voters, older black voters are just more, pragmatic and feel, hey, we know change takes a while. And so we're going to stick with old Joe. But the younger people aren't going for that. They don't feel like that. And then even with polls, how easy is it? How hard is it to poll younger people? Let me go down here real quick. It says, Rep. James Clyburn, Democrat of South Carolina, a staunch Biden supporter, said he cringed at the former vice president's comments. He says he knows that Biden is not perfect, but he should be compared to the alternative, not the almighty. Now, I'm going to say this. This is exactly why young people are so frustrated. Instead of holding his feet to the fire for what he did, you just, oh, well, he ain't Jesus. Well, we shouldn't compare him to the Almighty, just compare him to Donald Trump. And while I hear that sentiment, but we should still want more. We should still want better. Again, earlier in the article, it says that younger voters expect more from their politicians. And I'm one of those people. I expect more from my politician than for me to just say, you know what? He's not the other guy. But if he's doing the same stuff as the other guy, I don't know, but hey, you guys, older black voters, ask this man for something. Because the youth are asking, they're not going to listen to the youth. They are not going to listen to the youth. You know why? Because the older voters got them past who the youth wanted. The youth wanted Bernie Sanders overwhelmingly. And the older voters said, you know what? We're going to listen to Clyburn. And we're going to go ahead and go with good old Joe. Along with Elizabeth Warren staying in the race, so she could take votes away from Bernie Sanders because they're very similar ideologically, or however you say it, with their ideology. They're very similar, right? And then you have Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg drop out. So they drop out the day before the Carolina. Elizabeth Warren stay in. All the black pastors, Jim Clyburn, all the older black, gatekeepers said, you know what, vote for Biden. And all the older black people voted for Biden, pushing Biden in front of who the younger black people wanted for president. So older black people, you guys got what you want. At least ask this man for something. At least hold his feet to the fire. Don't let him just sitting there. It's the COVID, so I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to give very scripted everything, and I'm not going to answer none of your questions. Hey, you guys, this is Soapbox Heroes. Much love, peace, respect. Put on your mask. Put on your mask when you're bumping uglies. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear it because you guys say listen to the experts, and the experts and the sexperts say put on your mask. This is Soapbox Heroes. I'll holler at you guys tomorrow. Peace.
KCOH Houston Legacy, Civics and Soul. 1230.